Hello people, Mike here. Today's video is going to be me talking about my experience using the Zhiyun Smooth 5S AI phone gimbal. And just letting you guys know that this gimbal was sent to me by Zhiyun, but they didn't tell me what to say, and they don't even get to see the video until I upload it. So all the things that you're about to hear are my own opinion. Before we begin, just to let you guys know, this video is not going to be me talking about all the features of this gimbal. It's going to be me talking about what I actually liked about it and what I don't like about it. Because I actually used this gimbal for a while. They sent it to me last year and almost been like a year or so. And I've been using it religiously, you know, shooting my family and traveling and all that. So I just wanted to give you guys like a long-term review of what I really like and what I wish it improved on. Just a quick super intro on the gimbal. Basically, it does everything what other gimbals do. It does have a locking axis. It can do all the different modes, pan follow, lock, POV, vortex, and all that good jazz. Good joystick, modes, menu, and these zoom knobs. But what made this gimbal interesting is this thing right here, which is the AI tracker module where it gets attached magnetically. You can just attach it here. It doesn't matter what phone, what app that you're using. You just have it on here and then perform a certain gesture, it will follow you. But I will talk about that a little later. So the main thing that I want to praise about this gimbal is the durability and the build quality. I had this for, I don't know, almost 7-8 months now. This thing is built like a tank. Even though, yes, they gave me a very nice carrying bag with it, I just used this like a tool. I was like tossing into my bag, I was tossing into my luggage, and I was just, you know, taking it everywhere just to take some of the footage of my kids. My 1-year-old start banging this on the ground just as a toy. And so far, it just still works like as if it was just came out of the box. You can see a lot of scratches. I have it on the gimbal, but if you just look at it, it still looks new. And it's just the build quality is so well made. Even these little hand grips here, these rubber, it doesn't feel cheap and it's still very nicely intact. And all the buttons are still giving me good feedback as if it's basically new. And this is important because when I use this kind of like a quick go gear like this equipment, I don't baby it too much. I just use it like a tool, like I said earlier. I think that's really important because if you are too careful or too worried that you're gonna break the actual equipment, it's another hassle to have. So the fact that the build quality and the durability of this gimbal is such an awesome, you know, it will be a good investment because it will last you a long time. The second thing is the battery life. I know it's a lot of gimbal has pretty good battery life, and this thing, it lasted the whole day. One time I just left it on and it was on for like 6-7 hours and it was still had a decent amount of battery left. I know it all depends on, like, you know, how much weight you put in the gimbal and stuff like that. And I tested it with a lot of different setup. I went all out on it once. My phone is iPhone 16 Pro Max, which is probably the biggest iPhone that they make. I even put on a 67mm ND filter on here attached to it with a Pro Mist, and it was still able to balance it correctly without struggling. Most of the time, if the motor can't handle the weight, it just gives in and it just falls down. But it never happened with this gimbal. And having a strong motor is very important because it also affects how fast you can balance it. Because of course, yes, if you perfectly balance it, it will be the best case scenario. But sometimes you just want to do it on the go, like, you know, super fast setup. Even though you don't balance it correctly, if your motors are strong, it will actually hold and stabilize it for you instead of just giving in. And I want to talk about the actual weight and the size. I think this is a perfect size and weight, to be honest with you, because I've tried a lot of different gimbals and couple phone gimbals, but most of them, they were advertising how portable they are. But to be honest, when I use those kind of portable small phone gimbals, it doesn't really seem like it's doing anything. Might as well just hold the phone very, steadily and then just use it. And most of the time the motors are weaker. And when it's too light, when you're holding it, it doesn't feel like you're holding anything steadily. In other words, it helps have a decent weight in order to stabilize your phone, because your body won't like shake it too much because it's too light. And it's a perfect size where I can just toss it on top of the compartment of my camera bag. It will fit in there and then I'll just toss it in there. So let's talk about this thing right here, if it's actually worth it. So there are pros and cons. I just wanted to go over some of the pros. If you are a solo creator like me and you need somebody to shoot what you're doing while you're doing something else, it will help you to get a little bit more different type of shots instead of just tripod shots. So what I've been using it a lot with this AI tracker is when I go on a photo shoot or I'm doing some kind of a work at a certain client, I just have it on the side and I start tracking myself. So that way it seems like somebody's actually filming me even though it's not. So it gives you a little bit more dynamic shots when you are putting together like your video as a solo creator. It never actually failed me. It did what it was advertised it to do. So all the gesture, like follow, stop, like reframing, it just worked flawlessly, and then it did track. And another good thing is, doesn't matter what phone or what camera app you're using. I personally use the Apple Final Cut camera or something like that, and it worked perfectly using that. So you're not really bound to use certain apps. And another small thing is that it does have a built-in light in the front. Obviously it can't be like a key light or anything, but it does help a little bit when it's like super dark. And also you can actually attach other extra light if you have one to one of these magnetic locations, then it will light up and it gives you a decent light. So let's talk about some of the things that I wish they improved on their next model. And first thing I want to talk about is the AI tracker. It works well, but one thing that I really hope they can add is the default position of the following on the AI tracker. So when I start tracking, it will put me onto the dead center where it will leave too much of a headroom. I wish they can actually center it to a point where it will have my head on one of the top rule of third lines. That way I don't really have to reframe it again and just go after I start telling them to follow me. And the second thing applies to a lot of other gimbals. This clamp right here, I wish they made the clamp a little bit more for thicker phones because a lot of people use cases on their phone. Even though I do use a very thin case, it was very hard to like shove it in. It seems like it might just like spring out. If you guys can make a little bit more thicker so you can have like a better grip on a thicker phone cases. And the third one is a little bit my personal thing. I am a lefty. I do hold my gimbal with my left hand. So when I'm doing this zoom focus knob, it becomes kind of useless. So maybe if they can reposition this to like a trigger position, that would be helpful for somebody like a lefty like me. And just another little thing, the mode is super small here. And when I'm using it outside, it's very hard to see which mode I am because the light indicator is not that bright. So either maybe they can make it a little bit more bigger or maybe a little bit more brighter. It's just a little thing that it can improve that I'm kind of nitpicking. So overall, I think this is probably the best phone gimbal that I actually use. Feels like a gimbal that works. And the durability wise, I think it's top notch. And I think it's worth the money because it will last you a very long time. So if you guys are looking to get a gimbal that works, that will last a long time to get your footage to the next level, then I would definitely recommend this Zhiyun Smooth 5S AI phone gimbal. So that's it for me today. Hopefully you guys liked my video. If you guys did, please give me a like, subscribe if you guys want to see similar content in the future. And until then, I'll see you next time. Peace.